The Walt Disney Company has gone and done a big whoopsie. It turns out that when Disney shouted out Inside Out 2, as they should, for its tremendous not only box office but streaming success, they also accidentally gave us the ability to see exactly how it compares to Star Wars and modern Marvel. Today, we've got the definitive statement when it comes to just how bad the ratings are for Acolyte and Agatha. Defenders, beware. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we are simply bringing people back to where entertainment is good, helping the companies out there make a product that is better by showing them the way. Today, we're going to do so by explainifying what Disney already knows, bringing it to the public sphere. Yes, we shall. We are here to do just that. Folks, as we get ready to get started, consider clicking the like button. And if you out there are an Acolyte or Agatha ratings defender, we're looking at some of you in the entertainment intelligentsia, well, you should be greatly afraid of this video unless you are ready, my friends, to join us and see the light. Also, folks, I would like to preface this by saying to so many out there, we're so happy to have broken records in the month of September. Many views on this channel, over 4 million views in the month of September. And we hit the 100,000 subscriber mark in the month of September in less than 2 years. And it's all because of you out there. And I suspect, folks, that one of the reasons we've done what we've done is because we've been busy telling the truth as best as we can. And in doing so, we've had quite a few negative stories about Disney. And some, especially those who are a little bit jelly of what's going on with the party we have here with all of you each day, well, they're jelly because we're telling the truth about Disney, which means we've got to tell some negative stories. And why do we have to tell some negative stories about Disney? In fact, the majority are negative stories about Disney because this is a company that has dropped something like 60% of its total value in 3 years. Now, the cupcakers, the pixie dusters, the rainbow sprinklers, they will not tell you that that is happening. But this is a company that is down 60%. And if you want to go to a news source or to a channel that's going to tell you the truth, there's no way to sugarcoat a 60% drop that seems to be sustained. The stock was near $200 a share, and now it's hovering at the 90 mark often. So that's not good. They want to just tell you the good things. We tell you the real things, and we think you really appreciate that. At least we hope you do. So let's start off with a really good thing, and then we're going to come back to something that is not so good for Disney. All right, out of the Walt Disney Company, a press release. This is where they're going to stumble, fumble, and give us access to information they probably did not want us to have. The statement says, Inside Out 2 is the #1 film premiere on Disney Plus in 2024, driving 30.5 million views globally in 5 days. Now, there are some things to notice about this headline. First of all, it says it's the #1 film premiere. That is worrisome because it indicates that it's not the #1 film flat out. Number two, it says that it's the #1 film premiere on Disney Plus in 2024, which would indicate it's not the biggest film premiere of all time. Those would have been good things to see from the box office success that is the best, highest grossing revenue feature-length animated film of all time. You would have hoped that it would have just broken all the records on Disney Plus. Now, let's say with that, okay, for all due balance, it's doing just fine. Following a record-breaking theatrical run, Disney and Pixar's Inside Out 2, the highest-grossing animated movie of all time, set even more records with its Disney Plus debut. Inside Out 2 drove 30.5 million views. You'll see the asterisk there. That's the teeny-weeny little star. Don't wish upon that one because that means that they're going to confuse you all with what a view is, and they confuse us. We don't even want to fool with it. That is a 30-minute video for another day. You would think a view means a view. It doesn't mean a view. Globally on Disney Plus, based on 5 days of streaming, making it the #1 film premiere on Disney Plus in 2024, the #1 theatrical film premiere on Disney Plus since Walt Disney Animation Studios' Encanto, 2021. So there's the #1. Good for Disney to give that to us. And the #1 film premiere of all time on Disney Plus in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Okay. Additionally, well, it includes Latin America as well, which is very, very interesting. You know what? In fact, I think I think they're pointing that out because Encanto, you would assume, would be the top one on Latin America. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Anyway, we'll continue. Additionally, excitement for the sequel drove viewers to revisit the original in huge numbers. Since the first Inside Out 2 teaser trailer, there have been more than 121 million views of Disney and Pixar's Inside Out globally on Disney+, although it still lags behind Moana. So if you want to know why they turned the Disney Plus Moana show into a movie and hurriedly got it out the door in time for this November, yeah, Moana is that popular. Their biggest franchise by far. We're not going to tell you what Inside Out 2 is. You all know that. It goes on, though, to talk about how Inside Out 2 crossed the $1 billion mark at the box office in just 19 days, faster than any other animated film ever. And that would make sense, given that, by the way, it became the biggest animated feature-length film of all time at the box office, period. Now, there's a fascinating thing about all of this, though, and that is that in telling us all this, Disney accidentally did a whoopsie, a big whoopsie. Let's find out what the whoopsie is. You ready? Go into that Park Place now. You can see the title here, Disney wins with Inside Out 2 ratings, but reveals major Star Wars problem. And the length of the title requirement is what keeps us from saying, and oh, by the way, modern Marvel as well. Let's read it. There's plenty of reason for Disney's CEO Bob Iger and his merry executives to pop champagne bottles today. Inside Out 2, the Disney Pixar animated feature film from this summer, has released on the Disney Plus streaming. To say it's popular is not really articulating it well. Rather, one might say that the record-breaking box office performance of the movie is continuing to pace in the digital space. Still, not everyone is excited. In releasing the gargantuan viewership data for Inside Out 2, Disney has also managed to out both Star Wars and Marvel as having lost their popularity with modern audiences. And this is going to end the defense of Acolyte and the defense of Agatha. And there's been some, I don't want to say major, there's been some whining, a whining noise, like a fly in a room trying to declare that those are winners. They're not. Sorry, Tassie. All right, here is where we get into this. There's no denying that Inside Out 2 is doing a tremendous job in the race for ratings. Conversely, however, this does shine a light on two properties of once hyper-popular franchises that continue to wither with agenda-driven narratives. Let's examine in detail. According to the press release by Disney, Inside Out 2 earned 30.5 million views over 5 days. That's an average of 6.1 million views per day. Even better, it's content that is likely to drive consumer product purchases. And yes, that's fancy talk for toys. If we assume for a moment that Inside Out 2 garnered the same average views per day for an additional 2 days, that would bring Inside Out 2 to a blistering 42.7 million views in its first week of release on Disney+. Despite the large consensus that Inside Out 2 is not one of Pixar's best films from a quality perspective, it's easily a behemoth for consumption. But how does it stand in comparison to Star Wars and Marvel? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you clicked on the video. Here's the delivery. To determine what a hit looks like versus a flop, let us turn to the most recent big-budget series on Disney Plus from Kathleen Kennedy and Kevin Feige. As we've said, The Acolyte had a budget of about $250 million and beyond when you include marketing. While we don't know yet the budget for Agatha All Along by Marvel, the production quality for both series looks similar. At least for Acolyte, that means its budget is in line with the estimated cost for Inside Out 2. Pause, folks. I want to say here that I'm aware that there are reports that Agatha cost something like $30 million, which would be 1/10 of the cost of The Acolyte. And I just have to say, I want to see those numbers before I believe any of that. I'm sorry, you're going to have to display the objective evidence of it because I'm not simply biting that one. That's a rotten apple because I don't see how it's possible. Had you told me 80 million, 90 million, that's believable, although it stretches it. But $30 million, tough to believe. If they did it, amazing. I want to see the proof thereof. So what did Disney get for those budgets? Well, if we divide the viewership measured for The Acolyte by the number of days for which we are given, we discover that Acolyte averaged 2.2 million views per day, and Agatha, if we divide it in the same manner, will arrive at 1.3 million views in their first weeks. In other words, Inside Out 2 approximately tripled the viewership of The Acolyte and quintupled the viewership of Agatha All Along. For those of you not aware, quintupled means 5 times. When combined with the knowledge that Inside Out 2 is a likely powerhouse for moving merch, it's easy to see why it's such a winner compared to the other two big Disney Plus releases for the quarter. Not only are Agatha and Acolyte duds for viewership, they're also duds for third-party partners and retail sales as well. You can see here Stuttering Craig reveals the same. It says, my retail insider has said since the launch of Star Wars Outlaws, they've seen very low sales. Now, Outlaws is not exactly the same thing as the Acolyte. Agreed. However, one might be convinced that both Acolyte and Outlaws are somewhat intertwined. And if interest levels in Star Wars is down, well, look out. There could be a big frown on the face of all retailers everywhere. The bottom line is that Disney clearly has a path forward in which they stop the flow of flops at the box office, stem the stalled streaming content, and reinvigorate their consumer division. It's a simple strategy of excluding division from their entertainment output. When Disney stays clear of socio-political fire, their revenue streams go red hot. Inside Out 2 is evidence of it, but so are the mishaps that are hampering Disney Plus growth. Here's to a Disney that returns to a mainstream middle, sensible center approach to economic growth. Like Riley from Inside Out 2, Wall Street would likely jump for joy were that to happen. And we've got a beautiful ad. Love it. All right, folks, that is the video for the day because we must go on our way, learning more about what's happening at Disney and beyond, bringing entertainment to you in the best way possible, explaining it, and keeping you ahead of the culture curve. That is the job we do, and we think we've done it pretty darn well today. So, in the end, how do we classify this video? Is it positive or negative? Remember, we've got some people out there who claim we're just too negative about Disney. Well, folks, it's 50-50 here, and that's a good place to be if you're trying to deliver the news accurately. Disney has a win with Inside Out 2, there's no doubt. But Disney also has flops with Agatha and with Acolyte. One side, this side, is willing to declare that there's a winner and there's a loser on Disney+. And, by the way, that there's a path forward to replicate the winning. And then there's the other side. There's the pixie dusters, there's the sugar coaters, there's the cupcakers, the access media, and those who want to shill for the House of Mouse. And they simply tell you everything is good. All is a win. Acolyte's just fine. Agatha, don't worry about it. And oh, by the way, for those who say that these properties are being canceled because of the culture war, ignore them. They're a bunch of incels, whatever that is. Well, folks, we're here to tell you they're not telling the truth, and we'll continue to try to do so. Giving you the facts as we see them with a balanced perspective, that is the way to be, and apparently you all love it. We hope so. Folks, if you love this video, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is that notification bell. Drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts, and tell us, did you enjoy Inside Out 2? I bet that if you watched it, it compares favorably when held up against things like the Acolyte and Agatha. Why is that? All three of these are female properties. So why is that? Well, Star Wars and Marvel, they're male-dominated franchises, but those particular subsets are female series. Folks, on your way out the door, we ask that you, you do this simple thing. We think it matters. Keep learning, keep growing, and as ever, keep having fun.
Wilton, what are you doing?
Well, word on the street is the culture war has officially made it to the doorstep of that park place. And I realized Jonas has no one there who loves him. So I thought I should go and protect them.
Yeah, okay. You know that's not, how you do this, right?
Do what? Fight? Don't worry, Floral. I will not be intimidated by a criminal threat.
Threat? Wilton, don't be ridiculous.
What does it matter to me? I have only one life to lose.
I mean, I totally expected you to die walking into traffic, but,
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Okay, just stop.
Ugh.
This is just nonsense. You already have one of the easiest and most effective tools and weapons at your fingertips.
My axe?
No. The truth. Stay smart and ready to tell and share the truth by keeping up to date with WDW Pro, That Park Place, as well as Valiant Renegade.
And Jonas? I mean, he does things with Vash, and that's not very reassuring. That's like putting two helpless chipmunks into a piranha pond.
That's neither true nor accurate. Unlike the team from that park place.
Sue me.
Ugh.